Alright, so let's now start talking about how we go about checking the repository status. And to do that, we're going to use the Git Status Command. So I'm going to open my terminal. And I'm going to navigate to the folder, Git-repos home. And what we're going to do is create a new repository so that we can demonstrate this Git Status command from scratch. So I'm going to type git space init space status dash repo. Remembering that this is an alternate command that will effectively create the subfolder and then add the .git database subfolder as well. So we'll type in that command and you can see it's created the folder status dash repo and also the .git folder. So I can now go cd space status, that's TAT, press tab, ls. And of course, because it's just been created, that's telling us there's an empty repository. Now, of course, the .git folder is still there. We can type ls space -al, but that is a hidden folder and it's for Git's internal use and it's not part of our Git project content as such. Alright, so how do we actually check the status? Well, the way to do that is the git space status command. So type in that. So right now you can see the output is fairly simple and hopefully self-explanatory. What's important here that you should probably note though is the word track. Nothing to commit, create copy files and use git add to track. So a tracked file is a file that Git takes the responsibility of tracking, or monitoring. And once we add or issue the git add command for a newly created file or a fresh file copied from outside the repository, it'll be a file that ultimately is going to be tracked by Git. So to see what I mean, let's actually create another file. We'll type in vi space steps to good health.txt. I'm going to press I in there. Eat healthy, food, exercise often. I'll keep it really, really simple here. I'm going to press escape, lowercase x to save the file. We've got the one file there. And now if I type in git status again, notice we've got some different output at this point. We've got this steps to good health.txt flagged in red now. And Git's actually kindly telling us what needs to happen. So basically Git's here is now saying we've got an untracked file called steps to good health.txt. Now it's untracked because we haven't added it to the index or staging area yet by using the git add command. But to note also that because we've set up our command prompt, it's actually showing it nicely for us in red to make it clear that we need to add this file and it's not currently being tracked by Git. So it actually colors the file name to make the distinction clear for each file. So for example, once we execute the add command, which we're going to do shortly, and issue the status after that, you'll see that the file name will be changed. So let's actually do that just to see what happens. So git space add space, and we'll add the file name, steps to good health. It's been added to the repository. And now if we do a git space status, notice also now it says git new file, steps to good health, and it's now in green, which is obviously telling us that it is tracking. And obviously the output has changed in addition to tell us that now there aren't any untracked files because we've actually created this file, or I should say added the file to the Git repository. Notice also though it's telling us that if we want to unstage it, which is another word for removing it, we can type in the git command there that's showing at the bottom of the screen to do just that. But we'll actually be removing the file a little bit later, but it's just good to know that Git's telling us how to remove that if we've added it to be added to the Git database, and then for some reason we decided we didn't want it. This is how the commands that we would actually type to remove it so it doesn't get committed when we eventually do a commit command. But in this case, what we want to do is we really do want to commit this file. So let's go ahead and commit the file. So we're going to type git space commit space -m, and let's put in first commit for the health file. And you can see we've got the file added, very similar to what you've seen in the previous video. But let's now fire up the git status again, git space status. And you can see now that we've got on branch master, nothing to commit, working tree clean. So again, the git status command is helpfully telling us that everything's up to date and there's no files there that aren't part of the Git repository. But moving on, I'm going to clear the screen so we can start with a fresh slate again. Now let's actually modify that file and see what happens. So I'm going to type in vi space and open that file. And let's go down and we'll type something in here. So on the second line, let's maybe put drink plenty of water. Press escape, X to save that. So we've made a change to the file now. So let's try the Git Status command again. Now note that this time it's telling us that the file has been modified. Again, it's showing it in red and telling us we need to do something because the file has been modified. And it's also telling us up here at the top that the changes aren't staged for commit, and essentially what to do to either add the files to update what's going to be committed, or this other command here to discard changes in the working directory. What's new here is that Git's saying that we can undo our modification using that git checkout command if we wanted to, but we will look at the git checkout command a little bit later. But again, the point also I want to make here is that the color is now in red for the file name to indicate the file is in a modified state or something needs to happen to it. So let's add the file to the repository. So git add space and steps, the same file name again, git add steps to good health. That's been added. And we can do a git status again. The file is now in green. And we can now go ahead and actually save it. So git commit space -m. Let's put the second commit for the health file. All right, I can see one file changed, one insertion, one deletion. That's telling us what was actually changed. All right, so let's actually open the file again and add something else. So vi space steps to good health. I go down to the third line this time. It's let's sleep at least 8 hours a night. Let's save that file. All right, and I'll just clear the screen again. And if we do a git status, we've got the similar situation that we had earlier where Git's telling us again the file needs to be basically added to the repository. There's a file here that's got some changes. Now there is a shortcut to the git commit command that you can use so you don't need to independently type git add. So I can type in git commit -a space -m and we'll put in third commit for the health file. Press enter. And you can see what's happened there is it's basically executed a git add command and then committed it as well. And to confirm that, we can do a git space status. You can see run branch master, nothing to commit, working tree clean. So just saved you an extra step there if you know you wanted to commit the files without having to type git add independently. All right, so at this point, we're actually done. So I'll see you in the next video.